Prince Charles and the Princess Royal today stood in for the Queen, dressed in ceremonial robes, as they attended the Order of the Thistle Service to install 2 new members. They were joined by knights and ladies of the Order for the service of Thanksgiving at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. Crowds lined the Royal Mall as they awaited the arrival of the royals, ahead of the service for the installation of the Right Honourable Dame Elish Angiolini and the Right Honourable Sir George Reid by Princess Anne and Prince Charles. The Order of the Thistle recognises men and women who have held public office or contributed in a significant way to Scottish life. It is the highest honour in Scotland and the second highest in the UK, preceded only by the Order of the Garter. The royals smiled as they arrived at proceedings in their large velvet robes, with Prince Charles sporting one in blue and Princess Anne wearing one in emerald green. After Prince Charles dropped his hat and bent down to pick it up, they processed into the chapel of the Order of the Thistle, where they installed the new knights in a private service. This year, the duo are standing in for the Queen, who was last seen at a military parade. Traditionally, the event begins in the Signet Library in the centre of Edinburgh. The knights, wearing green velvet robes, insignia and white-plumed hats, take part in the procession. It takes them to the chapel of the Order of the Thistle in Edinburgh for the service. Just outside the library in Parliament Square they collect the Guard of Honour with the colours, flags, of the Royal Company. They are accompanied by the band of the Royal Regiment of Scotland and then the Chancellor, Dean and Secretary of the Thistle process into the chapel of the Order of the Thistle. The Queen usually then installs the new knights, with the procession continuing to the Cathedral for the remainder of the service. After the service there is usually a short reception in the Signet Library and a lunch at the Palace of Holyrood House. Prince Charles and Princess Anne's appearance comes after they stood in for the Queen yesterday again and hosted the Holyrood House garden party. The royal family is on a trip to Scotland to mark the annual Holyrood Week, which takes place between the end of June and beginning of July. It sees the Queen, 96, and her family members tour around Scotland meeting Scots from all walks of life. A key feature of the visit was yesterday's garden party at the Palace of Holyrood House, which recognises Scots' good work in the community. On Monday the monarch was accompanied by Prince Edward and Sophie Wessex at the traditional opening of the week. The Earl and Countess of Fofa, as they are known in Scotland, appeared alongside the Queen in Edinburgh at the historic ceremony of the Keys. During the ceremony, the Queen is presented with the key to Edinburgh, the ancient and hereditary Kingdom of Scotland. As is tradition, she then returns them to elected officials in the city for safekeeping. The Queen beamed at the ceremony on Monday while appearing with a walking stick. Buckingham Palace has said she is suffering from episodic mobility problems which sometimes mean she has to use walking aids. Prior to the Platinum Jubilee celebrations marking her 70th year on the throne earlier in June, the monarch had pulled out of several appearances including the state opening of Parliament in May. Stepping in, Prince Charles and Prince William instead attended the House of Lords where the Prince of Wales delivered the Queen's speech.